Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again. I am here to review Better Call Saul Season 5. Oh. And I know, excuse me, sorry. I just had a decent sized breakfast, and something unfortunate about me is that I have a problem with acid, like I just ate pancakes, and whenever I eat pancakes, I have terrible stomach acid for most of the day, so that's fun. And there's a mosquito in here, so I'm going to let him out. But anyways, this is going to probably be my shortest season review, because here's the thing, I've already talked about this season a ton. I mean, with season 4 it was different because it hit me so hard in a bad way, where I watched it and I thought, there's no way that this is the official season 4. There's no way that people are calling this good. So it was nice to watch that again, to sort of get a different perspective a little bit, and to see things in a way I didn't see them before for some parts of it. But for this, let's rip the Band-Aid right off. I feel bad because I hate hating on a show where it used to be so good and now it's just not good. And I hate being the bearer of bad news and just telling the truth. But it's true, this show has fallen so hard, and you can feel it because they rush, and they have these checklists where in season 2 they got all this shit because you had all these fanboys who said, when's he gonna become Saul? When's Jimmy gonna become Saul? And then in season 3, when's Jimmy gonna become Saul? And then season 4, when's Jimmy gonna be... it's the same old shit with these fanboys. They all have the same... because they don't care about Better Call Saul, they care about Breaking Bad. And this is a different show than Breaking Bad. But unfortunately, the creators of the show, they didn't get the right feedback. In fact, I don't think they got any feedback because I think they were too busy sniffing their own farts in their little writer's room, acting like they have a perfect series because they'd only have a couple of seasons and 10 episodes each season. It's just not true. It's never going to be true for anything. Breaking Bad isn't perfect. Breaking Bad doesn't have 100% perfect episodes. Breaking Bad doesn't have all of them as perfect seasons. It's not a perfect show. You can say it's perfect because you just love it overall, and the good outweighs the bad, which, even for my favorite show of all time, Californication, Being Human US, those are my two favorite shows. Even for those shows, it's true that I don't like episodes from those shows. In Being Human, there's this thing in season 2 where it just completely falls off the rails with this stupid story about the ghost character, and it's this whole thing where it's a twist, and they ruin this really good villain who could have been the greatest villain of the show's history. They ruined that villain to make it a twist on her, and it was just this stupid story. And then they had a whole season. Season 3 was trash. Season 3 was so bad, it was good. It was just, really mediocre. It was so bad that after that, the show ended. After that, they did season 4, and then boom, they're gone. Because that's what happens with these shows, is that what happens is they don't get the feedback, they don't get the criticism, so they get full of themselves, and they do too much, and they can't repair the damage, and that's exactly what happened in this show. Season 5 of Better Call Saul, the first episode, you can feel physically on your body. You can feel that season 4 is it's like a tick or something. It's like something that you can't shake off. You're just trying to shake off these ants that keep crawling on you from the ground. Or like a mosquito buzzing around you and landing on you and trying to bite you. And you just can't get rid of the fucking mosquito. That's what season 4 was to Better Call Saul. And immediately, they could not shake off season 4. They had a hard time getting back to making a good show. And the first half of the season is trash. It's fine. It's got its moments. It's just so boring and mediocre, and it's just there's nothing of substance to make me go, wow, I'm gonna remember that. Wow, I can't wait to rewatch Namaste. I can't wait to rewatch 50% Off. I can't wait to rewatch Magic Man. Because you know what those episodes are? They're checklist episodes. Because they don't want to tell a story. They don't want to, like we were talking about Queen of Hearts. That movie had a couple of instances where they had problems like that. Where instead of fleshing out these scenes to happen as scenes, they would just do these montages. And I don't want to see that. I want to see scenes. I want to see stories. I want to see character arcs. I want to see stuff fucking happen. I don't want to see Jimmy. Like, this is how little they think of their main character. They have Jimmy. And he's sitting in a carnival tent. And you got like a hooker who comes up to him and he's like, "Hey, I'm Jimmy. I am Saul Goodman. I'm attorney at law. Saul Goodman." And then they'll cut away from that. It's like, wait a second, why is she there? What's going on? I want to know what's happening with her. Is there a good story there? Does she have some relation to a interesting character from a past season? What's going on with that character? And same goes for all of them. They go on for like 20 fucking minutes of Saul Goodman sitting in a fucking tent just doing this stupid montage where he just talks to people, and it's like, what the fuck is this shit? I didn't sign up to watch this shit. And then, guess what they do in the same episode? They got 20 minutes dedicated to Kim doing some sort of a stupid random case so that she can have this arc where she's falling out of love with the law. Like, boo-hoo. In season 2, you didn't even care about the law. You were just like secretly whispering sweet nothings to Jimmy, telling him, you know what you should do, Jimmy? If a guy did that, if a guy committed murder, he would probably want to cover up his tracks. That is exactly what you did. This character, they turned one of the greatest female characters in television history. They turned her into a hypocritical, two-faced bitch. Okay? I mean, the show has basically become Better Call Kim. It's not even Better Call Saul. It's Better Call Kim. Because they care more about giving her a backstory flashback, too. I mean, remember that stupid flashback where she's just walking along with her fucking instrument and her mom's drunk, and so she doesn't want to get in the car. Wow, that was so important that we needed to see a 5-minute scene of that. Like a 5-minute scene. Learn to distribute your story better. It's a terrible structure. This season's story structure is piss poor. Okay? There's too much time devoted to needless nothing stories and not enough. And do you know why? Because they don't want to expand on those other stories, because if they do, they'll have to write more stuff. They can't just have 10 episodes. So they're trying to restrict themselves. They're directly trying to restrict and restrain their own creativity by saying, I'm not going to, let's just do a montage of that so that we don't have to write any actual story. And then when it comes to Kim and her stupid job at Schweikert and Coakley, she has this whole Mesa Verde storyline where it's like, boo-hoo, there's this guy and they're gonna kick him out of his house. And it's terrible. It's terrible because it seems like everything revolves around Kim. And like, you have this character in Saul Goodman, and he's talking to all these criminals and all these lowlifes and all these people who are, quote unquote, the little guy. And yet, all we're doing is just focusing on Kim and focusing on, oh, there's the story that happens with Saul, and it's all because of her. And then even later on in the season, they'll have a story with Jimmy where he has the whole bagman thing. And then guess what happens? He comes home and it becomes all about Kim. And then in the finale, it's all about Kim. Kim, 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 Kim. I swear, the writers have bigger hard-ons for Kim than Jimmy McGill himself on the fucking show when she does an impression of a man. Like, that's another thing. Like, they have so many weird scenes in this season. Weird scenes that are like from a Hallmark movie from the early 2000s, where, once again, they're trying to replace the dynamic of those scenes with Jimmy and Chuck at home. And so they have all these shitty scenes where they're at home and, like, they argue. Or they're home and, like, Jimmy doesn't tell her the truth. Wah! And then they have a scene where, like, he's like, do an impression of that guy. And you can just see him. He's like leaning over the counter. Like, he's like, brushing his erection up against the counter because he's getting so turned on by this fucking impression of Kevin from Mesa Verde. I mean, it is bizarre. It is so weird. Like, I would never be able to write anything that weird. And I've written some weird shit, let me tell you. You'll see it pretty soon. And they just, it's just not good. It's terrible. There are some good things, though, about their story. Okay, number one, the story of Jimmy trying to help that guy keep his house. I really, really, really like that story a lot. I thought that was very uplifting, and it was very positive. And I thought, for all the complaints that people have, all the fanboys, they all have the same narrative. Jimmy, sorry about that, happens all the time around here, unfortunately. Jimmy is turning into Saul, and Jimmy is bad for Kim. And Jimmy is turning Kim to the dark side, and he's forcing her to be evil. And, they act like, I swear to God, fanboys of this show, the way that you can tell that they're not actual fans of the show is that they think Jimmy's the devil. Like, they think Jimmy is worse than Chuck thought of Jimmy. Like, Chuck, his thoughts of Jimmy, they're tame in comparison to what actual fanboys of the show think of the main character. And so that's the way you can tell that these are not actual fans of the show. Because you have this whole story where Jimmy says, no, Kim, I am not going to stop helping this old man keep his house because you're worried that your boss is going to do something. Like, God, what a selfish biatch. She's so concerned about herself, how things Jimmy does reflects on her. It's all about her. It's so bad. It's like, this is sad. Like, they really ruined her character, and she was so good in those first 3 seasons. And look what they did to her. Look what the writers did to her. It wasn't Jimmy that did that to her. It was the writers that did that to her. Having her do these weird scenes where she's like throwing beer bottles off the roof of an apartment building. Like, what a stupid idea that was. What a weird thing. And God, speaking of weird, okay, we got done with the good with Jimmy helping that guy. I mean, that was great. There's so many great moments with that. And again, very uplifting. But then you have the bad stuff with Jimmy, of which there's a lot. The majority of the season sucks with Jimmy. You have the stuff with him getting a job offer from Howard. What does he do? He throws bowling balls at Howard's car, and he brings some hookers to prank Howard. And it's like, what is this, like season 4? Are they like trying to continue his like mood swing storyline from season 4, where he's weird and he has these psychotic mood swings? Like it's so nonsensical. It's so it lacks any substance. It just feels like the writers just want to do some fun stuff. Like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if, like, Jimmy, he doesn't like Howard because, Howard's trash. He is trash. He's such a lame character. Used to be one of the best characters of the show in seasons 1 and 2, and they just turned him into Chuck's bitch. And then they turned him into a little bitch. And then they turned him into a weak-ass bitch who gives Jimmy a job offer for some random reason so that he can just be relevant to the story again. And they really don't know what to do with Howard's character. That's why they make him this big story subject in season 6, is because they're like, oh, how do we make this character relevant? How do we actually write story for this character without making it to where there's more story and more episodes we have to do? So, Howard's storyline this season, trash. So then what else is there? Nacho. Oh, God. Nacho! He has this stupid story with his dad, and his dad's really, really likable, as I said in season 4, season 3 reviews. But his story is just spinning its wheels, where he's Gus is like Darth Vader, and he's like, he just doesn't care about Nacho at all, and he's this terrible, evil, like overreactive psychopath. My favorite thing, actually, with Gus this season was the story where he's with the Madrigal guy and Lydia in the hotel room, and you get to see kind of like him doing a different way of doing business. Like, instead of just running around ordering guys to kill other guys, he's like just talking to this guy in a hotel room with Lydia, and it's like a completely different game altogether. And I really wanted to see more of that, like to make Gus seem human, because at this whole series, Gus has become Darth Vader, and I really don't like him at all. So I don't like Gus, I don't like Jimmy, I don't like Kim, I don't like Nacho because he's spinning his wheels and he's weak and pathetic. He's nowhere near as good as he was in seasons 1 through 3. He's just become such a little bitch like Howard. And then, what does that leave us with? Who does that leave us with? Like, Lalo? Lalo is actually really, really likable. He's really cool. He's really smart. And, and Mike, a little bit. Well, he has some story issues, too. We'll get to that. Lalo, really the only bad thing he's done so far is kill that guy at the Travel Wire, which was pretty bad. But this is a TV show, and, Mike has killed an innocent man too. So, if you guys are going to say, Lalo's the worst because he killed that one guy, well, how about Mike is the worst because he killed Werner, an innocent man, as well? I mean, you can't just, you can't be hypocritical with that. You have to be fair and say, yeah, everyone in this show has done bad things. And so Lalo, I really like him this season. He is one of the highlights for sure. So far the best things. I also kind of like the story with You're the Guy for This, where they involved Crazy Ape from season 1 and his whole story with having to deal with Hank. I kind of like that. I thought that was good, but that was just more Breaking Bad fan service to cater to these fanboys. That really wasn't relevant to the plot. They really didn't even need that whole story to happen. It was kind of a waste of time. Uh, so, all in all, then we get to the end of the season where things get quote unquote heated up, and Bagman is an incredible episode because you know why? Because Bagman is like the old episodes. I give Bagman an A+. I would also give Dedicado a max, like an A. That episode was very good. Lots of stuff with Jimmy and that guy, and trying to help him keep his house. Bad Choice Road is easily a C+ episode, but fanboys will give it an A+ because of the last scene with Lalo in the apartment. And I will admit that whole sequence is phenomenal. It's such an incredibly suspenseful, well-written sequence. And that definitely was a highlight of the season. But then it just turns into more Kim stuff, with Kim overacting against Lalo, and Kim basically verbally fighting with Lalo. But it was very intense. I remembered I had such a bad stomach ache when I watched that sequence the first time. It was painful to watch that because I was so like, it was terrifying. But it was really, really good. I really loved that sequence, and it's a masterclass in suspense, that sequence. But the episode as a whole was such a weak episode. It was just a break. It was just a filler break almost, where it's just like and you think maybe they're hyping up, they're waiting for the finale to do something bigger. And the finale is trash. I give the finale an F-. The finale is just a big disappointment. I mean, there's so many memeable things about the finale, like the thing with Gus, and he's like, we're gonna have Lalo killed because guess what, Mike? I hired all the best guys. All the best guys in the business. They're all the best. They're the best in the business. And then we see them just get easily taken down, even though they're wearing body armor and they have heavy machine guns. We see them easily get taken down by Lalo, who only has this little pistol that goes pew, pew, pew. And it's just this, like, hilariously unrealistic and stupid sequence. They could have been good. Like, I thought, okay, this could be the highlight of the episode, but it was so fake and phony, and it was so Hollywoody that it just, ugh. And then you had the whole thing with Kim and Jimmy, where they sit in a hotel room the whole episode, and they eat fucking ice cream sundaes together, and talk about ruining Howard for some random reason. And it's almost like the writers just don't know what to do, because they're just so not creative in terms of, like, they want to restrict their creativity. So instead of, like, them doing something interesting, like, what if they met someone in this hotel and they scammed him, and then that became a part of next season? Like, what if they scammed the wrong person? Something like that. Like, no, they're just going to sit around and talk about how they're going to ruin Howard while they munch down on ice cream. And there's this really dumb thing where Jimmy says, leave off the mint chocolate chip. And so I guess Jimmy McGill is never going to eat mint chocolate chip ice cream again, because of the instance where he got picked up by Lalo and Nacho. Like, that is just so dumb. Like, just think about how stupid it would be for someone to never eat mint chocolate chip ice cream again because it's related to an incident. Like, just like, what? Like, you're never going to eat, like, what if that's your favorite flavor? Like, I'm sorry, but even if someone tried to kill me while I was eating mint chocolate chip ice cream, that isn't going to make me stop eating mint chocolate chip ice cream in the future. Like, even if someone, like, tried to break into my house while I'm eating mint chocolate chip ice cream, that's not going to make me not want to have mint chocolate chip anymore. I mean, that's just so, like, just what? Like, that's an actual story point that Jimmy doesn't want mint chocolate chip anymore because of this little thing that happened that just, oh, God. Oh, and of course, the season ends on what is probably the funniest dumb moment of the entire series, where Kim does the finger guns. And it's just the stupidest thing. Like, he's sitting on the bed, and she's just like, pew, 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 pew. And it's just this zoom out of Jimmy looking like, oh, yeah, I came. He was totally like, he turned on by her doing some fucking finger guns like a 10-year-old Cowboys and Indians kid playing that. Like, it was so queer, like, just to end the story of the season with Kim doing finger guns. Oh my God, that was so bad. Oh, oh. And then Mike has this weird story where he's depressed, and it is good because it felt like he needs to have remorse for killing an innocent man. He doesn't need to do this rapid change so that they can check another box off their list. So I like that he felt remorse, but they have this weird story where, like, he yells at Kaylee, and then we never get to see him, like, make up with her. Like, we never get a scene where, like, he apologizes and, you know, she, like, forgives him or something. Like, we never get, like, a good scene like that, too, which is weird. And he has this thing where he's taken to Mexico, and, oh, God, it's so weird. But he does have an incredible moment in Bagman. Bagman is really, really good. And I would say, though, that this season is not worth it just for one Bagman. And that's their motto now. That feels like that's what their motto is that all of that filler, all of that fluff, all of that stupidity is all worth it just for Bagman. Just for Bad Choice Road. Like, all of those bad episodes, all of that weak storyline, that's all worth it, because then we have Bagman that comes near the end. Like, that's just, no. But Mike does have probably my favorite moment of the season, where he's telling Jimmy, you know, I'm still going because I know why I'm here. And it's such a motivating, fantastic speech. And it's really, like, positive and uplifting. And that's something else, is that with these characters since the beginning of the show, it's always felt like a powerful, uplifting story with Jimmy, which turns bad near the end because of just, you know, doing too much and getting involved with too much danger. But, like, you're telling me that him cutting corners to help that guy keep his house, you're telling me that's not worth it? Like, you know, come on. And so that is uplifting. And so I just don't buy that with how people say, like, you know, this is all, like, just a part of him becoming evil, and it's a part of a evil journey. And it's like, I don't see that at all. I see, like, a guy just choosing a path that will lead to bad places, but he is still gonna get success along the way. And so it's just, it's all gray in this show. And I think that that's what I really loved about the first three seasons. Whereas in the fourth and fifth, it's really clear, like, who you're supposed to root for and who you're supposed to root against. You're supposed to not like Jimmy because he's ruining Kim. And you're supposed to not like Lalo because he killed that one travel wire guy for some random reason. So I would give this season, you know what I think? There's this restaurant I go to called Ritter's, and it's a great custard place, and usually I like to get a peanut butter mountain there, and that's my favorite thing to get. It's basically a peanut butter cup sundae, and something else I like to do is have other ice cream flavors inside the peanut butter mountain instead of vanilla. And so one time I had a banana peanut butter mountain. One time I had a chocolate peanut butter mountain. Well, there was this one time where I had a turtle something peanut butter mountain. And that's the flavor. That's what it's called, turtle something. And it was too much. The caramel with the peanut butter, it was too much. It just felt like, this is just way too much. This is just not smart. It's like style over substance. It's just a lot of nothing. It's just a lot of sugar in a cup. It's not something that tastes good and tastes logical. All the nuts in it, they got stuck in my teeth. It was very, very unpleasant, gross sundae. It was so gross. And I was excited because I love turtles. I love those turtles. I love the nuts inside turtles with the chocolate and the caramel. But it just did not work in this peanut butter mountain. And that's what this season is. It's a lot of stuff that does not work, that leads to somewhere that's not worth it. And so this whole season, I think, is almost just as bad as season 4. The only difference is that there are some great moments. There's some great episodes. Like, I'll definitely watch Dedicado of Max, Wexler v. Goodman, and Bagman. I'll definitely watch those again in the future. But all the other episodes, yeah, probably not. Not at all, actually. Like, I really don't want to watch those again. So anyways, please like this video, comment. I know that this was a short video. I actually need to speak with an actor now, and I'm a little late. They have to, okay. And so, and then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest Better Call Saul reviews, because I will be the one reviewer who's honest about the show. I won't be like, oh my god, this is the greatest show ever, because we got to see the twins in a scene. And oh my god, this is the greatest show ever because Nacho talked to Hank. Wow. Oh my god, Breaking Bad connection confirmed. Ooh, I came. Just like Jimmy came when Kim's doing the finger guns. Pew, 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 pew. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.